opportunity to meet up with Jeff Howard on one of his jobs recently. He was going to be performing a follow-up blower door test at a client's home. Jeff had done an initial blower door test before, which revealed a lot of problems with the house, and now a month or so later, after our teams had done an extensive amount of work, it was time to do a follow-up blower door test to find out how much improvement had been made. After spending an hour with Jeff on this job, I was blown away by what all the blower door test was able to uncover, and the level of detail that went into the repairs and upgrades our team performed. And our client was absolutely thrilled with the results.
Okay. For the last 6 years, we have had high humidity in our house, where it would get up to like 60%. We'd go to bed and our sheets would feel wet. So we would have to run a dehumidifier 24 hours a day. And I kept complaining about it. And it wasn't until Kyle came on, and he did, got Jeff involved, which now has fixed everything. So I couldn't be more grateful.
Jeff came out and performed a blower door test. This fan is set up in the doorway and blows air from inside out, pulling the home into a negative pressure. With the house in a negative pressure, leaks in the home's envelope where air and humidity can infiltrate become evident.
Once we achieve our 50 pascals, what we can actually look at here is a couple. So with this home, when we actually depressurized the house to our negative 50 pascals, what we were able to find was many exfiltration and infiltration points within the home. That was from the attic to the crawl space to the home, causing thermal bypasses and allowing a lot more moisture, humidity, dirt, and dust particles within the home, as well as hot and cold temperatures. When all that happens, the system is going to have a hard time removing those different sensible and latent loads that's put on the house throughout the year. When we did the blower door, we also were able to determine the sizing of the equipment that's needed for the home, which will also in turn give us our sizing of our ductwork and if we need to make any modifications or changes. We took out a single stage system which was having issues with controlling the humidity, moisture, and the operation within the home, along with everything else going on. So we updated our system to a 5-stage V&A heat pump. Each one of our V&A systems that we install, green speed or any inverter type system, we should consider putting on a surge protector such as the AG over here, the AG3000. Great service add-on if not installed with the new system. So along with our V&A outdoor unit that we put in our 5-stage, we obviously have our Infinity Series FE air handler in here as well that matches up with it. Along with it, we blew out our return drop with a proper media cabinet with the proper velocity going across it so it can filter as it's supposed to. And we put on a Prestige controller that's controlling our indoor air quality products, such as our ERV in the attic and then our dehumidifier that's in the crawl space. Right here's reading the crawl space humidity. We have a wireless sensor down there. And here's our current set point. We also have our ventilation, which is currently in the idle mode. If we want to, we can actually boost it for a temporary amount of time. Done. We did the microwave roof jack, as you can see up here, because it was vented into the attic before underneath the return ductwork. Obviously a massive hole for the house, which was adding to the humidity and dust and other issues she was having within the home. So we also had issues with the crawl space with moisture and everything. So we had one of our partners come in and actually encapsulate the crawl space for us, increase the depth of the door to enter the crawl space, and put a sealed door on. So the supply trunk actually was about down to where our plumbing pipe is here, and that's where it stopped. Off of it, we had to run from that trunk there all the way over, as you can see, all the way to the other opposite side of the house, causing excessively long branch runs, which increased our TEL, our total equivalent length, and also killed our pressure and our velocity. Once we were done with all the ductwork and verified that everything was installed as we wanted it to be, we opened up all of our different dampers throughout the duct system, and then we sealed the entire duct system. So here you can actually see where the duct is coming together, right up top here, right off of our takeoff where we put a screw in, and how we actually sealed the duct system with our AeroSeal process. And if you look down here, even on the regular drive, it's bent over, you can actually see the sealant of everything being sealed up. So since we've encapsulated the crawl space, we went ahead and put a dehumidifier down here for any additional moisture that may be present. We also had some plumbing concerns and issues within the home, and with that piping, we got our plumbing team involved. Came out here and we ended up replacing everything in the home to all new PEX.
I could almost stand in there while I
All right, we're gonna check out the attic. So what we also had to do to actually access all the top plates and those fur downs and everything that we were talking about was we had to suck all this insulation out that was in here before. It was not as nice as it was or as much as we had in here before, so it wasn't as bad. But once we did get it pulled out, we were able to actually seal all those fur downs, those thermal bypasses, and the top plates within the home that were allowing the infiltration to come into the home. We did that with a 2-part closed cell spray foam. Once we were done, and we verified we were done, we were able to come back in and do a blown-in cellulose back to an R38 value. So we also put in our energy recovery ventilator to help the house breathe and bring in the good air, the fresh air that we wanted to breathe and bring in, and not the contaminated air that we were once getting from all the top plates and openings within the home that were infiltrating into the home.
Well, as you can see, we did quite a bit of work on this project. The new variable speed equipment was working great. The new sealed ductwork was providing even temperatures throughout the house. The humidity was under control. An air device test showed vast improvements in all of the air quality. It was now time to do another blower door test to see how much of the infiltration and exfiltration had been eliminated.
So what we do before we actually get the blower door started is we will go through and do a baseline. What the baseline is going to tell us is the pressure that's outside, the wind that's affecting or attributing to our fan today. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and set our pressure to our 50 pascals, and what we're going to do with that is we're depressurizing the house. So we're putting the house in a negative state so we can expose everything that's infiltrating into the home. 50 pascals is a typical number that we actually want to pressurize a house at or depressurize a house at. So here we go. Once we achieve our 50 pascals, what we can actually look at here is a couple different numbers. One of the big numbers is our what we call CFM 50. And what that means is what's the CFM of exchange from the whole house that we're depressurizing to outside at the 50 pascals.
So right now we're at just under 1,500.
Yep.
Is that good?
That will depend on the home, the circumstances, and what's going on. So on this one, we started out at about 2,600 CFM 50, and then with everything that we've done, we were able to cut it down. Not quite in half, but pretty close. So what we're doing here is we're going to use smoke to actually determine what's going on, where some leaking points are. Before, when we checked this, we were getting a lot of leakage from the return. Nothing's on right now, no equipment, other than the blower door that's depressurizing the house. And that is beautiful.
That's amazing.
What we were seeing before is this was blowing back into my face, and that's just how much leakage we had around that return ductwork.
Wow.
Total difference, right?
I know, right?
This was another big spot that was actually open above with this drop down. We had to seal it up too. There's a vent stack running up this wall, and they didn't seal any of that. A lot of people want to blame windows.
Our
Windows
are
are
pretty good, I think.
Rarely the case. Not as much. Look at that.
I know, right?
That is
Remember
awesome.
when it was blowing?
It would be blowing in our face when we were here last time.
Exactly.
And that is what we want to see. That is why we do what we do. Look at that.
Do it up there, Jeff. Because that's where we saw. Oh, remember? I mean, it was like blowing in
Out of the cabinet, yeah.
our face, and we could feel the wind.
Yep. One major concern we had was with these drop downs, these fur downs, these bulkheads here that we see in many, many homes is they never get sealed. So they're actually open to your attic. What was happening here before is we were getting a lot of infiltration from the home and exfiltration from the home that was moving the hot, humid, or cold air from the attic to the living space. What we actually did was we sealed the top, the very, very top. We made this actually part of the house now, and we did a 2-part closed cell spray foam to seal up the space.
This project was a good example of just some of the issues that a blower door test can reveal, as well as some of the many solutions we have to offer our clients. Brenda told us she was ready to move if her comfort issues could not be fixed. Thankfully, we were able to finally bring her true comfort by getting the right personnel with the right equipment to diagnose and fix the issues in her home. And she couldn't be happier.